Look at the way this quill moves across unblemished parchment. It represents a common, comfortable perception of poetry, the idea that art is a passive luxury meant to beautify the world from a safe distance. But outside the margins of this pristine page, there are environments where that kind of beauty offers no protection. There are spaces where despair tries to close the door and where powerful forces demand absolute silence from those who suffer. In these dark spaces, human dignity is under constant active threat. When voices are silenced and stories are suppressed, it creates a vacuum where hope simply cannot survive. If we treat art merely as decoration, it becomes useless in the face of this reality. A poem that only seeks to adorn the world has no power to help the people struggling to live within it. These four figures standing at the edge of the chasm are the Society of Shadow Poets: Gino, Gabriela, Veronica, and Elizabeth. They gathered at the edge of night, not to escape the world, but to find a different way to speak to it. Their premise is straightforward. They do not surrender to the darkness. Instead, they seek to learn the language of the shadows so they can understand the mechanics of suffering, so they can answer it with clarity. For these poets, the presence of a shadow does not mean the work is over. The darkness is the signal that their labor is required. It is what summons them to the page. They aim to turn the page into a threshold, a transition point where a person's suffering can be met with the possibility of being heard. It is a site where the isolation of pain begins to transform into the start of a connection. Under this framework, poetry is not an escape. It is a direct, courageous confrontation with the hardest parts of human experience. To make that confrontation effective, the society uses art as a deliberate intervention. They deploy their words precisely where dignity is threatened, using tools to push back against silence. When people are isolated, a poem acts as a bridge. The story becomes a torch, radiating light to reveal truths hidden in the dark, medicine to heal wounds, and a drum. Its rhythmic beat creates shockwaves, rallying people for collective action. For these tools to work, the creator must be willing to be vulnerable. That openness is the doorway through which real fellowship and trust enter the process. When these tools are used with intent, poetry moves from a passive art form to an essential mechanism of societal defense. They believe that justice without compassion hardens into something brittle and cold, while compassion without justice drifts without direction. They must be grounded together to form a stable foundation. This is the alchemy of the group. They aren't looking for everyone to be the same. They are looking for different individual sparks to join together under a shared purpose. This entire process is governed by a central guiding concept: tikkun olam. Tikkun olam is the active labor of repairing what has been broken. It is the work of ensuring that no one is erased, and that even the stories of the forgotten are preserved and honored. Individual creativity is important, but it only reaches its full potential when it is directed toward this collective task of repair. For the society, their shared belief system acts as a strict covenant of conscience. For this society, their manifesto is a binding agreement. It is a promise to move past artistic theory and into action. The result of this pledge is the creation of actual spaces, both physical and emotional, where belonging is not just a concept we talk about, but something we actively practice. They redefine liberty to include more than just words on a page. To them, true liberty includes the tangible necessities of life, the ability to breathe, access to bread, a safe shelter, and a place where you belong. The success of their art is not measured by its beauty, but by whether it creates a real sanctuary for those who have been exiled or are grieving. This commitment requires the society to honor every story offered in truth, making sure every voice has a place to be heard. They believe that every life carries a sacred music. Like this lantern cutting through the mist, that music must be protected and defended against anything that tries to silence it. This leads to the final mandate for the artist. The poet's duty is to carry this lantern forward into the parts of the world that remain in shadow. The goal of this journey is to reach a horizon where liberation is no longer a distant hope, but a reality shared by everyone. Ultimately, the poet acts as an agent of human survival. In this society, the imagination is the primary tool used to repair the world.